What's happening, everybody? TK here, TK and Drinks. We got another Honest Mead review coming at you today. And today's meadery, well, it's not actually a meadery, but it's a mead homebrewer that many people know is Mr. Garrett from Man-Made Mead, the YouTube channel extraordinaire. He's kind enough to send me 5 cans. He got a canning lineup up and going here recently. So he asked out on the internet, said, hey, anybody looking to try some cans? I politely raised my hand, and he was kind enough to oblige. I knew raising my hand would work because he's a school teacher. I think it was kind of an inside hack that I had. Didn't want to let you all know on that one, but that's how I got those. So today, I'm not going to be trying all 5 of them. I'm going to be doing 3 because 3 is the magic number, and plus I want to keep a couple to share around in my travels. So we got our Mead score sheet here pulled up on the laptop. Probably not going to get that set back down. It's going to be fucking difficult to deal with in editing. But we've got our mead and we've got our water bottle and we are ready to rock and roll. So first thing, let's go over the meads that he was kind enough to send us, see if we can't pick a couple of these out. Now, he did send us 2 Braggettes. So this one is a buckwheat Imperial Russian Bragette. For those of you who know, Braggettes are meads that are made with grains in them, and sometimes put hops in there as well, as opposed to just the water, honey, and yeast or any other fruits or spices. So we've got a buckwheat Imperial Russian Bragette. Set that here. This one, we got a hopped mead. This one's a lemon blossom coming in at 5%. That buckwheat one was at 9%. We've got a raspberry cheesecake mead. You know I'm doing that one. Gotta try that raspberry cheesecake mead. And see, we got an apple cinnamon mead. This one is 6%. It's called I Swear It's Not Applesauce. So I think we're going to be trying that one as well. And lastly but not leastly, another Bragette. This one coming in at 6%. Definitely digging these homebrew labels. So let's do these 3 here. We'll we'll do one of the Bragettes. We'll do the Imperial Buckwheat Russian Bragette. We'll do the hopped mead for later, and we'll save the other Bragette for later. So we'll set those off to the side, and here we go. So from lightest to darkest, I'm going to start with, the Sizer. Yep, we're going to start with the Sizer. So a Sizer is a mead that is primarily based with apple juice or apple cider as the either the water source or as the other majority fermentable sugar besides the honey. So this one says apple and cinnamon mead, so it's a fruit and spice mead, and it says I swear it's not applesauce. So I'm imagining it's going to be on the sweeter side. Maybe not everybody enjoys a really sweet applesauce, but I'm hoping that this one does that applesauce flavor justice as it says. So let's check this out. Can still feels carbonated. It's been a couple weeks since he sent it to me. Nice hiss on that. Digging that. Nice cinnamon punch right out the nose. Let's see here, we get a good pour. There we go. Cheers to Honey Pot. Always love their Teku glass here. So heavily carbonated. Lots and lots of bubbles remain, especially long after the pour here. So first thing, I'm doing this a little out of order. Let's go on to that appearance there. Nice golden appley hue to it. Not perfectly brilliant. Certainly got some haze to it, but given the amount of apple that probably went into this, that's going to be expected. I'm not sure if he hit it with any pectic enzyme or if they were frozen apples and he didn't need to do that, or how any of that went for this, but definitely digging that nice gold color. Effervescing, I don't know if that's the term, effervescing, tons of bubbles coming up, still shooting throughout that nice big heavy foam bubbly ring around. Nice clear refractivity on it, nothing murky or oily across the top of that. Looks like the meniscus is on the clear side, so I'm imagining this is a fairly young mead. Certainly don't think it was barrel aged or any of that stuff. So for the appearance, we're going to go ahead and give that a let's see here. Let's give that a 6 out of 6 on the appearance. Gotta dig that. Bouquet and aroma. Heavy on the cinnamon, heavier on the cinnamon than on the apple, but you definitely can pick that apple up in there, and that blend kind of gives it this like mold spice, but I'm not picking up like any star anise or any clove or anything like that. I think it definitely is just the cinnamon and the apple as he stated on there. Sweetness from the honey in there is very very present as well. On the very backside, I do get some tartness out of it, so I guess I shouldn't say it's fully sweet. There's definitely some tart on the backside, so I say it's a little more well balanced. Hit at all the different angles here. Yeah, I mean the honey and the cinnamon are blended well with the apple. You know, I'll go ahead. Let's give that one a 9. It's very pleasant to drink, very pleasant to smell. Not a lot off characters. Like I said, if maybe there was a little bit more of a tartness in it, it would kind of be more apple-y, but it does say apple sauce, so let's just let that ride with a 9 on there. So flavor, let's go. Now the apple definitely comes through significantly more than the cinnamon does, but the cinnamon's there. It's got a nice and light astringency in there, probably from a malic acid from the apples that are in there. I don't think he added any other type of acid to it. The body feels nice and bubbly and perky because of the carbonation that's in there, so it definitely plays well on the tongue. Helps add some mouthfeel to it. This one said it is 6%. It's definitely easy drinker. Nice and light on the tongue, not oily or greasy or anything like that. Has a nice short after feel, nice short aftertaste on it. Not really sticking around in the creases of my mouth or anything. It's in, does the appley stuff. For an apple cinnamon mead, I would definitely think you'd want the cinnamon to be a little more present in this. That's a little more of tongue character than it does on flavor. I'd like to see the flavor of it come through a little bit more. And I guess there's some drying, some tannic presence to it. On flavor, I'm gonna hit this one up with a straight up 20, because like I said, I think it could be a little better, a little stronger on the cinnamon if you're gonna be calling the apple cinnamon. Straight up on the label, I guess if it had said apple sauce, I wouldn't be so picky on that, because applesauce is not necessarily always cinnamony, but it says apple and cinnamon. Try to be a little more style specific on that, but it's not out of style or anything like that. So let's go ahead and say, like I said, solid 20 out of that. An overall impression, I'm gonna go with the 8 for the overall impression. So 20 and 8 is 28, and 6 and 9 is 15, 15 and 28 is 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Yeah, that's a solid 4.3. I would definitely give that. So I give a 43 on the man-made mead, apple and cinnamon. Like I said, probably maybe could have docked a little more points for the cinnamon if I wanted to be a dick, but it's there in the nose, it is there in the palate. It's just not as strong as I would like to see. But I'd say for a 43, that's a solid sizer you got there, Mr. Garrett. Appreciate that. Let's get all those scores cleared out on our score sheet, and let's move on to our next one. We're going to go with that raspberry cheesecake or the Bragette. I imagine that's going to be a pretty solid, heavy flavor profile. So let's get into this. Raspberry cheesecake, 7%. So this one definitely feels carbonated in there. So I imagine this is going to be another session style. Oh yeah, nice heavy on there. All right, let's get up here on the pour. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, that beautiful. That is a sexy red pink looking, almost like a fuchsia color. I guess I can stick that raspberry side out there. Yes, wonderful, like a neon fuchsia color. Again, lots and lots of bubbles in there remain after the pour, effervescing a little bit, giving us lots of nice bubbly presence on the surface. In the right light, that is definitely more brilliant than I was thinking. Thin it out as much as I can. Nice refractivity on there. Oh, mirror-like, nothing oily, no shimmeries on there. Nice red pink meniscus, nice and clear to be true to this style. If it's going to be a raspberry cheesecake, I'd expect that to be nice and heavy and pink. It looks very saturated with color. I mean, it's very full in the red fuchsia color that it is, red pink fuchsia. So I say it's all looking good on there, man. On this appearance, I'm giving this one straight up 6 right out the gate, because it deserves every bit of that. Aromatics. Ooh, wow. That does have like a nice raspberry cheesecake to it. Like the raspberry that comes through is more like a sweetened raspberry, like something you would expect to find on a cheesecake, something that's had like, you know, sugar added to it, or in this case probably honey, added to it, and to give it that kind of that coated sugary berry sweetness, like again like a raspberry gel or something that's on, or a swirl that's in your cheesecake. I even feel like I can get like a little bit like a graham crackery type of crust in there. Definitely picking up some tartness on the backside, probably from the berries. And that sweetness from the honey is definitely there as well. It doesn't specify what kind of honey. Garrett's been known to use a wide variety of different types of honeys, so I'm not quite sure what that would be, but I imagine it's something very neutral for that raspberry to come through as well as it is. And maybe it's a meadow foam honey and it's kind of plain, doesn't really smell like that, but maybe he used enough raspberries to kind of kill that. I don't know. I'm guessing it's a wildflower or something lighter in that essence. This one to 9 as well. I mean, this is very, very, very well done. I'm a huge fan of this, the aromatics on this one. Flavor, here we go. It's interesting. Like I like the blend of flavors that are going. I get the raspberry coming through. I'm not sure if it was real raspberries, or on the taste it feels like it may have been supplemented. If there is real raspberries, maybe it was supplemented by like a raspberry extract, or a raspberry maybe it was raspberry concentrate or something. I'm not quite sure. Raspberry is a little bit peculiar, but you do get that graham crackery, a little bit cinnamon type of crust going on there. You get like a creaminess from like a lactose sugar in there. The body feels good on the tongue. It has, like I said, that light creaminess to it that you would expect to find if something said cheesecake flavored meat. The light carbonation again helps with that mouthfeel. The aftertaste, the berry comes first, then the graham crackery, crusty part comes through, both balanced well with the creaminess. But then that raspberry comes back for the aftertaste, and I'm not saying it just doesn't, like, it's more like raspberry candy-esque than like true raspberry. I don't know, just not my favorite, but it's very well balanced in its build and structure and everything like that. No alcohol burn to it. Doesn't have a nice dryness on the end to help balance out the amount of sweetness that's there. It's got tartness, but it doesn't have like a pinch to it. So I guess maybe a pinch more acid to maybe bring like the raspberry out a little bit more. Maybe it pop in a little more complimentary way. I'm not sure. That's what I would do to it personally. So for flavor, I guess I'm gonna hit this guy with a 20 as well, because I think it needs just a tiny bit of work, like the other one, just to make it a little more appealing all around. Overall though, I'm gonna hit this one with a 9, and I think that puts us at a 44 for this one overall. So 43 for the apple, 44 for the raspberry. Lastly but not leastly, we're going to be getting into the Bragette, the Buckwheat Russian Imperial Bragette, a 9%er. So again, as I was saying before, anybody doesn't know what Bragette is, a mead that's made, it's like half beer, half mead. It's mead that uses honey as a fermentable sugar, but also has grains in it as well. So being a Russian Imperial Bragette, I'm assuming it's going to be nice and dark with roasted malt, and it's got buckwheat honey, which is also very dark. So I'm looking into the can as I peek in there, and it seems like it's going to be quite on the dark amber side. Oh no, this is straight up just like brown. Reminds me of like a nice root beer or something, the way it poured there. Imperial Stout, I'll give you that, only because it's so deep and so dark. Nice brown, bubbly rings on there for the head. Definitely on the thinner side than stouts that I personally prefer, but if anything, if nothing else, I am a stout snob. But color is absolutely beautiful. It's like damn near opaque unless you break it out thin, then again, like it has that nice deep amber, like root beer color. Again, nice refractivity on there. Refractivity, not quite sure Sure, I sound like a clown, but it nice mirror-like, nothing oily or shimmery on there. Nice clean meniscus that looks again just very dark brown because of the style that it is. Appearance, can't see any legs on there yet. I did just not swirl it though. It has some nice cling to it. I'm gonna say if I see any big thick legs developing quite yet, but it's definitely got some stickiness to it. It's on there. So again, for an appearance for this style, I'm gonna have to give it a straight up 6. Bouquet and aromas. Oh yeah, very much dark roasted malt, dark caramel color, or like a roasted caramel type of note to it, like almost caramel that's been overcooked, burnt, molassesy. But that heavy roasted malt comes through quite a bit. Maybe, I don't know if he bouqueted the honey. I doubt it. But it's probably that buckwheat honey. I haven't had too many buckwheat Bragettes. That funkiness that's underneath there, that kind of barnyardy, like tangy funkiness to it, and it's definitely there with that burnt, not burnt, burnt-ish caramel character and the malt. So it's true to what it's saying. It's blended well. I'm gonna have to give this one an 8 out of 10 on the aromatics, just because it doesn't seem like it seems like the flavors are like layered as opposed to blended, where the other ones I could get like a swirl of flavor. Like this time I picked up one characteristic more than the other, and in next inhale it was something else, and it was different and complex. This one, every time I get the malt, the caramel, the honey, and flavor. So again, I'm gonna be expecting nice roasted, malty, roasty toasties, caramelly, molassesy type characters. And yes, oh my gosh, they're there very much. Dark vanilla type of character in there as well. The sweetness profile, like oaky, like smoky, malty, all those things that you'd expect out of a Russian Imperial Stout, with that little bit of funkiness from that buckwheat honey. I think this one was actually my favorite flavor out of all of them. That carbonation is there. It's a bit thin on the body for me. I mean, it's true to the style, but again, my own personal preference for stouts is I want something that's like thick and like almost like chocolate syrup when it's coming out of there, as far as like the texture. Maybe syrup's a bit on the heavy side, but I would definitely want those big, heavy, full-bodied stouts. But that being said, this one has a very nice, pleasant mouthfeel. It's got the right amount of acidity there's like almost no sweetness to it, but I'm not expecting a whole lot of sweetness in the Russian Imperial Bragette. So, and again, I think that the honey character is hidden and balanced very well in the flavor, which is better, much more complexly blended and just in general than the aromatics were. Tannins, it's definitely dry at the end. Acidity, definitely balanced there. Almost got, again, like that coffee, that black coffee type of characteristic to it. Carbonation helps with all of that. Aftertaste is definitely lingering of that coffee, roasted malt, caramel, maltiness, the deliciousness going on. This one for me is a straight 23. 23 in me on that flavor profile, baby. And then overall, I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give this one an 8 again. And again, because that's my own one personal overall impression. Like I said, I'd like to see a little bit more body to it. I think that would really help drive it more. I don't know how you increase that body on it. It's something I'm not really well versed in yet. You know, if you barrel age this thing, holy shit, I think that would really do it justice. But for what it is, you know, I'm happy with it exactly how it is. So we got 8 and 6 is 14, and 23 is 37. And 8 is 45, so I mean, I think that's a 45, a 43, and a 43, and a 43, or a 44 and a 43. That's some pretty epic scores. And I was definitely not coming into this. I had said to my wife before I did this that I was, you know, I had no expectations of them being phenomenal or terrible. I was pretty sure they were going to be, you know, upper 30s, just because, you know, the vast majority of stuff you come across lives in that range. But that being said, his years of mead making and everything seem to have done him a service, because these are all pleasant, drinkable. I could have another can of any one of these right now, take a 4-pack, What do you run for 4-packs, Garrett? When you're open, man? You're looking at 4 bangers right here that you could easily start a commercial meadery with that are better than commercial meaderies that I've been to, especially straight out the gate. So, cheers to you, Garrett, for that. Thank you all for being here on the TK and Drinks Mobile Mead Review 2 here in Georgia. Beautiful Friday evening, enjoying some man-made mead. Peace.